what you talking about, boy? OT, what you talking about, boy? OT, what you talking about, boy? OT, you be talking that. OT, what you talking about, boy? OT, what you talking about, boy? OT, what you talking about, boy? OT, you be talking that. I'm on that radio, I speak it though. What's on your mind is deep though. We'll speak it though. We on the air, just take it there, I'ma take it there. Hold up. Yeah, I'm talking about it, but I'm real about it. I speak on it, but don't catch films about it. We can chop it up like it's nothing, baby. Things that have you like, wow, now that's crazy. Now I know you getting, just take it there. Yes, this that OT show, baby, where we take it there. Like ATL, Friday, 7 p.m. straight to 9. This that OT show, baby, now we on that line. OT, what you talking about, boy? OT, what you talking about, boy? OT, what you talking about, boy? OT, you be talking that.
What's going on, everybody? We're back here live here on the OT show. Hey, yo, we got a good show for y'all today. Today, we're going to be talking to Mr. Ed Forchion. Yes, Ed Forchion, Mr. NjWeedman. And we're going to be talking about the success of the weed business, legalizing marijuana, and the market. And we're going to be talking about his expansion from the 4020 to Miami. So we're going to be getting into all that today with my special guest, Mr. Ed Forchion, NjWeedman. And got to say this, RIP to DMX, one of the greatest artists out there. And one thing that I want to take away from his death, that he always talked about God. Regardless how hard he was, regardless of what he talked about, if you ever went to a DMX concert, which I have before, he always do a prayer at the end, and it's phenomenal. So RIP to him. And I appreciate the music. I appreciate everything that he have done. And I appreciate him just being a human being. But I got to talk to y'all for a second. Just for a quick second. Last night, we had an epic show last night. The show was so epic that the show only supposed to have lasted for about an hour, and it ended up lasting for about 2 hours when we talked about relationships and talked about what can we do to help out far as in a relationship and stuff like that. And the show was so epic that we're going to have a round 2. Don't know when, but we're going to have a round 2. I am still like real tired from it, to be honest with y'all. It was phenomenal. I loved every minute, every second about it. You know what I mean? But I have to say this, what I learned last night should be learned everywhere. And that's that we definitely need to communicate with one another and know how to communicate with each other all the time. Because I'm going to tell you something. It got deep last night. And if you missed the show last night, my advice to you is to go to YouTube, go to OT Radio Show 1, subscribe to it, and you can see it from last night. Actually, you can actually see it on Facebook Live on the OT show. So it is on the OT show too. So, but you make sure you subscribe to the OT Radio Show 1, because I'm going to tell you something. It was crazy. The amount of love that I had got just to do a show on the spirit of the moment was phenomenal. The dialogue was very good. And like I said, this show, you can always come on and have conversations with your boy OT. It's easy to do. It's actually, you could do it on Facebook. Yes, you can do it on Facebook. You click the little icon at the bottom that says to join in, and you can actually join in if you want to talk to your boy. But let's talk about this weed business right now, right? The legalizing of weed and how it's going to be affecting the black market. When I say the black market, we're talking about us black people. Now, with people still in jail, yes, they are still in jail for selling weed. Some of them are not going to be getting out, even though they legalize marijuana, pot, if you want to call it, cannabis, that we, I mean, anything you want to call it. But we're going to talk about it here because this man been fighting a fight for over 20 years. And I actually tell you the truth, I got him on right now. Early bird. That's what I'm talking about. But right now, as I said, I was going to have on my man. What's going on, man? How you feeling today? Mr. New Jersey Fortune Weed, man. How are you, man? How is everything with you?
I'm all right, brother. How you doing? Hey, I'm sorry. This is the first time I use this stream, so I'm kind of like figuring it out right now.
Well, you know what? It is all good, man. I definitely appreciate you joining me here because I know you're a busy man. And I just got finished talking to our listeners about you. I was saying, we was going to be talking about the legalizing of weed. We're going to be talking about the black market and how it's not actually for us, it's for the big corporations. So let's get into a little bit about you, Mr. Edward Fortune, New Jersey Weed, man. I actually knew about you for a long time ago because I'm actually from Philadelphia.
Okay.
And to have you on the show is an honor because you've been fighting this fight for a long time. When we talk about marijuana, cannabis, as they want to call it, pot, whatever you want to get into it.
Listen, I still, just for the record, I still use marijuana, weed, herb, ganja, and I very rarely use cannabis. And I use that in a way.
Okay.
And I'll explain why, though.
Okay.
Because there are people who have the opposite issue with the word marijuana and cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Now we all know the history of it. I don't know if everyone does, but we know the history of the word marijuana. The word marijuana was the way the Spanish people called cannabis, or hemp.
Mm-hmm.
As part of racist America, certain politicians, a famous one named Harry Anslinger, used that word to demonize Mexicans and the substance marijuana because they called it marijuana. They demonized it and made it illegal. And then for the last, 80, 90 years, that was the genesis of this pot prohibition. It started in racism and has been utilized racistly ever since. Mm-hmm. But I just find it amazing that now that marijuana is becoming Caucasian acceptable, they want to change the word back to cannabis. And to me, I went to prison. It was marijuana.
Hold up. Hold that thought for a second. Can you do me a favor? Can you turn the TV down?
Oh, my bad. You know what?
In the background.
I forgot all about it. I tuned it out, I multitask all the time. I had TVs, computers, my phone, everything. I tuned it out. My bad.
Oh, man. You know what? It's all good. I still definitely appreciate you just being here. So let's talk about it. Just like you said, so keep going. You said to demonize.
Yeah, they use the word marijuana to demonize this plant. This plant has always been good. And, if it's not good for you, then don't use it. It's just like me with alcohol. I don't use alcohol. I'm a sipper, but I don't, whatever. And I don't use tobacco, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt that marijuana was good for people. And, I've always felt that way. It wasn't like suddenly I had an epiphany one day. No, when I was a teenager, before I could articulate all this, I understood that marijuana was good and all this other stuff was bad. At least it was good for me.
Right.
So anyway, now, we all know the history of everything. We've been going to prison forever. I went to prison for marijuana. I didn't go to prison for nothing else. I never done anything else. I never got caught doing anything else, for instance, for sure. But that's the only thing that put me in prison, and it put me in jail a couple times. And now, they're going to change the word to marijuana, from marijuana to cannabis, and Caucasian corporations are popping up all over the country, getting a pass from big business and politicians, or allowing them to break federal law and sell massive amounts of marijuana, which they call cannabis, and still arrest people like me for having very small amounts and in record numbers. People of color are still being arrested in record numbers for marijuana, while big rich white guys are selling tons of it. big giant warehouses. They call it medical. Big giant warehouses of it, and and our states are allowing it. It's against federal law no matter what, but they get to sell tons of marijuana while hundreds of thousands of us are still getting arrested all over the country. I got arrested twice last year for marijuana, small amounts. I even got arrested once this year in New Jersey, small amount, but still the fact that I got arrested. While just a few miles away, there's a huge warehouse growing tons of it, and a white dude controls it. And because he's paid politicians to write laws for him, they're allowed to do it. And it's still against federal law. So I have been fighting for legalization for a long time. And it just feels like here we are at the 11th hour. As legalization's coming, instead of it being this big celebration, to me, it's almost like a horror story. Like, wait a minute. I've been risking my life and talking all this crap for years. I felt like the village idiot 20 years ago. And now, instead of legalization coming to everybody or to people like me, it's going to these big corporations, the Caucasian cannabis corporations, I call them, the cartels. Sometimes I call them the Caucasian cannabis cartels. But anyway, big rich white guys. This legalization is being written for them by our white politicians. And if I say that to some people, they say I'm being a racist. I'm like, how am I being a racist for pointing out exactly what is happening? White politicians are writing the laws for big, rich white guys who are selling marijuana. You know, for instance, if I was writing the law, I probably would write the law so that little black dudes could sell weed legally. So, but that's what's happening. That's just a fact. And, you know, for the last 2 years, if you don't have enough money to fight these things, there's kind of nothing you can do about it. We're watching it happen all over the country. We're seeing it happen. And, you know, but I've been an activist and a protester for a long time. And I kind of stole something from Rosa Parks. You know, we have to give props where props are due. And the best way to praise somebody, you ask me, is to emulate them. And Rosa Parks, man, think about what Rosa Parks did. You know, what we all know she did. You know, she said, nope, I'm not getting off this bus and I'm not getting to the back of the bus. Well, as I look at this cannabis, you know, I ain't getting off this cannabis. I ain't getting to the back. You know, this big business that's getting ready to happen with this whole legalization of cannabis. And they want us to sit back and watch big rich white guys get richer while we went to prison for it in record numbers. Our lives got ruined. My life in 1997 got changed drastically. I never thought I'd be some dude calls himself Weedman. I never thought I'd go to prison. You know, I had a house next door to the police chief at the time. I had a trucking business, and I got caught with a weed arrest, and it's ruined my whole life. And that's actually the genesis of my whole public arguments. Like, you know, I always felt this way, but it wasn't until my life got ruined by the laws that I dedicated myself to destroying the law, to changing the law. And now, like I said, here we are at the 11th hour. And instead of the law being changed and made equally for everybody, nope. Big rich white guys get to sell tons of it. Even when they talk about legalization in New Jersey, for instance, you know, when they talk about micro licenses and things like that, even if I was to get lucky enough to be one of those people that got a micro license, guess what they require through regulations that they're writing? That you buy the marijuana from them. So if I was to become legal and licensed, as part of the licensing process, basically I promised that I won't buy marijuana from the black market, and I would have to buy it from these big rich white guys. Like in the law, they're making these big rich white guys the monopoly on where you get marijuana. and they're growing it in big giant warehouses. Like, no, I want to buy my weed from that local farmer in Oregon, that local farmer in California. Those farmers that could develop right here in New Jersey, the Garden State, if our politicians were writing laws for us and for people. Instead, they're writing the laws for these corporations. And getting back to Rosa Parks, I refuse to comply with that. Like, this is my civil disobedience, my act. This is the campaign that I'm on right now, where I have a hashtag that says, sell weed like I'm white.
Yep.
Hashtag
sell weed like I'm white.
A couple years ago, I announced, you know what? I ain't got the money to force the politicians to change. I'm a studier of the 60s and the 50s, 60s, and 70s civil rights movement. And there were certain people who stood up, Rosa Parks being one. And her whole idea of, I'm not getting off this bus, I am not getting to the back, always resonated with me. And that's how I feel with this. I've been selling marijuana off and on for 30-something years, you know, and now that legalization is coming, I'm supposed to get off this kind of bus and watch these white guys sell all this weed and let them get rich and stuff after my life got ruined and I went to prison. And there's thousands of people who are just like me. Just like me. Like, our lives just got changed. Like, we had a great life or whatever we were doing, and then bam, we got hit with this marijuana law, and you know, and next thing I know, our life was in a spiral. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I went to prison for selling weed, and you know, I got a jail cell like this. Like, I think about it like this: I got a jail cell, and these guys now are allowed to sell. Like, no. And I feel like, as far as a marijuana license goes, if they can give me my 1,200 days back that they took from me here, there, and the other for marijuana, it adds up to 1,100 and something days. I got it written down somewhere. It was 1,100 and something days that one way or the other I lost my freedom over marijuana. If they can give me that back, I guess I'll pay for a license. But if not, man, my license fee is paid in full, and I'm selling weed like I'm white. Now, they can do whatever they want to do. I've been openly selling weed across the street from City Hall for the last couple of years. And I have another hashtag, NJ can't get 12. Hashtag NJ can't get 12. And what that means is, I don't think if I was arrested for selling weed while not white across the street from City Hall, that the state would be able to put 12 people together on a jury to unanimously find me guilty of breaking a marijuana law while these white guys are selling tons of it. Like, that would be my defense. Like, yep, I'm selling weed just like I'm white, just like the white guys. But for some reason, the state has written laws against me and against people like me, and they allow these rich white guys to get arrested. And ladies of the jury, if you believe in that, then I guess I'm guilty and you can send me to prison. But if you don't believe in that, you will find me not guilty. And this has been my public stance for the last couple of years. And I've been waiting for someone to arrest me, and they just won't arrest me. So I just continue to sell weed openly. If you Google dispensaries in New Jersey, I pop up as one. I'm not a dispensary. I'm not legal. Most of my weed is coming from other places. None of it is grown here in New Jersey. You know, none of it comes from the white guys.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So let's talk about the laws that are being written right now when we talk about legalizing marijuana. And can you tell our listeners, how much will it cost to open up a dispensary?
Well,
right now, just to get a license for a dispensary.
Well, right now there really are no rules made. Like, this is how New Jersey is so backwards. We have what they call a CRC board, is what they just created. This CRC board stands for Cannabis Regulatory Committee or Commission or something like that. And they are supposed to write the rules on how legalization is going to occur in New Jersey. Now, from what I understand, They just had a meeting. The first time these 5 members have just met. And so there's no rules yet. At some point, yes, projectedly, they're going to have micro licenses. Maybe you spend like, $20,000 on a license, and there would be a very small percentage of people who would get those. Me, I don't think I would ever get that. Then there are bigger licenses, the distribution licenses, regular marijuana licenses, growers licenses. Growers licenses are estimated that you have to have $2 million in assets, and you have to be this big corporation with all these rules and hurdles and stuff. And the only people who can comply, won't be able to comply with those are big corporations or white guys. And then there's like a tier down processor, like a processing. But like I said, just say I was lucky enough to be one of those few poor people that got a micro license, right? I would still be required to buy my marijuana from the $2 million guy who was able to get a license to grow, and I'd have to buy from him. Like, what part of, freedom is that? And to be forced to buy my product from that guy. I mean, think of any other industry where you'd be forced to buy your product from. I mean, if I had a bar, just a bar, for instance, I can have 70 different brands of beer in there, and I can buy them from whoever I want. And tomorrow, I could discontinue using every single one of them and find 70 more guys and buy it from them. The state of New Jersey passing their so-called legalization is saying, no, only these guys are you allowed to buy marijuana from. And if you buy your marijuana from them, it's called cannabis. And cannabis has been made legal. If you read New Jersey's law, New Jersey's legalization law does not, I repeat, does not legalize marijuana because marijuana is black and brown and illegal. It legalizes cannabis. And it says regulated cannabis. In our New Jersey law, it says that regulated cannabis is legal. Well, where do you get regulated cannabis? You're going to get regulated cannabis from those people that the CRC board deemed to be the growers of marijuana through a licensing scheme, a plot, plan. Those people will have the monopoly on growing marijuana. Everyone else in the tier system down to the micro licenses will have to get their marijuana from them. And it's called cannabis, regulated cannabis then, so it's legal. So simultaneously now, as this regulated cannabis is being made legal, where you buy it from them and you distribute it through them, and they're trying to create this whole distribution system, a scheme. If I go and buy or continue to buy marijuana from the greatest source of marijuana there is, the state of California, or from guys in Oregon or Denver or even Washington State and upstate Maine, now is growing some pretty good marijuana. So if I was to buy my marijuana, procure my marijuana from there, or some dude with a truck that goes across the country, I don't know, I'll still be illegal, and it's called marijuana, and you can still go to prison for that.
Wow.
What you won't go to prison for is if you buy regulated cannabis. Like, so this bag of weed I got right here, even though New Jersey legalized marijuana, supposedly they didn't, because this here is unregulated marijuana. This is not legal.
Wow. Only
regulated cannabis is. And I just find it amazing that so many people are buying into this, that New Jersey legalized marijuana. No, they didn't. Even read the law. The law doesn't even say it legalized marijuana. The law actually says, and words mean something, it legalized regulated cannabis. Our criminal laws don't use that word, by the way. Our criminal laws use the word marijuana with an H, marijuana with an H. If you're caught with marijuana, unregulated cannabis, guess what still kicks in? Our marijuana laws, our criminal laws. and these people were like, oh man, weed is legal. Okay, listen, if the cops are deluded and they don't bust you for it either, so be it. But I'm telling you, these laws are still going to be used against certain people because they're still on the books and the wording is different. And what you're going to be getting is not that. You know, if you're buying it from the street or buying it from some dude who's mailing it to you from California, then it's still illegal.
Wow. Wow. So basically what you're saying is that when you are in the cannabis thing, right? When you are getting your license, you are actually going to be buying from big corporations that they tell you to buy from.
Yes. So and it's amazing that people have bought into this. They actually duped people in the state of New Jersey. Like, it's almost embarrassing to say it, but you remember when we were kids, there's those commercials be like, let's get Mikey to eat it. He'll eat it. He'll eat it.
Mikey eats everything.
well, you know what the politicians did in New Jersey last summer? Hey, let's put up a fake legalization bill. We're going to put it up and put it on the ballot, and the potheads in New Jersey are going to vote for it. And that's what they did.
Wow,
and,
without reading.
Yeah, and the bill, it did not legalize marijuana, but that was the title of it. But then if you read it, it did not legalize marijuana. It legalized regulated cannabis. And that didn't bother a lot of people. You know, it said things like that they were going to set up a CRC board. This was the plan. They didn't even hide it. Just nobody read it. The plan was to set up the CRC board that would then, months later, write the laws that would make this new legalization era in New Jersey. And it would take 7 to 12 months or something like that. It's probably going to take longer, but that's what the original wording was. Now, to me, like, that's the blank check. Who would vote for that? You know, if you're an insurance company, if you walked into an insurance company to buy insurance on your car, and the lady just handed you a piece of paper and said sign it, and you'd be like, no. If I sign this, like, what's the coverage? What's the length? What's this? You'd have all kinds of questions, right? If your landlord, you walked into the landlord's office one day and say, yo, I want to get that building over there. And he just says, okay, here, sign this. You'd be like, oh, what's the terms? What's this? Well, you slowing down. Well, our politicians did that. They said, hey, here you go. Just vote for this. This is legalization. And people lined up and voted for it. And nobody read it. Nobody even asked. Very few people asked. I was telling people to don't vote for that. It's a blank check. Who signs a blank check? Their plan was, you vote for it, Mikey. That's the Mikey syndrome. Let's get Mikey to do it. Bam. They said, hey, let's get the New Jersey potheads to do it. Yeah, go for it. And they all voted for it. Everybody voted for it. I was publicly saying not to vote for it. Ironically, people hated me for that. But I was like, who votes for it? I'm down for legalization, but not this blank check method. And of course, that's what happened. People voted for it, so yes. Now the CRC board is setting up this whole industry where you have to buy marijuana from the big corporations, and like it's amazing. It's amazing. And people, like, you know, I say look at some of these newspaper articles as this scheme is manifesting, because it's happening. It's happening. Yes, I'm a protester of it. I'm commenting on it. I'm saying these things about it publicly. But that's not the public scheme that's being put out there. There's a lot of people that just want to see it legal. The word legalization, that doesn't really mean it's legal, but they want to see that word, it's legal. They want to say, oh, I won't get busted for having a joint no more. Okay, that's true. Most people will not get busted for having a joint no more. They won't. Most people won't even get busted for having an ounce or 2 or 6 ounces or whatever the limit they said. But what about people who've been selling marijuana for decades? What about the existing marijuana industry that's here now? This is what I call legalization is also the Columbusization of the existing marijuana industry. I don't care where you go, and I've been all over the country. I've been to little towns in Arkansas. I've been to the whitest city in America, Salt Lake City, and I've bought marijuana everywhere. Marijuana is all over the place. There's a huge illegal black market of marijuana. And in the cities, especially on the East Coast, there's always a weed man. I'm just vain, and I claim the whole state by saying I call myself the New Jersey weed man, but there's always a weed man in every single community, especially urban communities, right? And now they're going to create this whole new cannabis industry, and they really talk about it in a sense like they found it. Like this is like, look, we discovered it. Like, right, just like Christopher Columbus did with America. Oh, I found America, and the hell with these millions of people that are already here. I found it. And
right.
He went back to Europe. He found the world. He found it, right? And they took it and they did what they did to it. They took it though from the existing people. That's where I'm getting at. So that's what's happening now with this legalization. This whole cannabis industry, these rich white guys, they founded this industry, and our politicians are writing laws to make it all happen. And the stated goal is to take it from the black market and give it to the good guys. That's what Governor Murphy said. The good guys to him are the big corporation guys, right? And like the existing industry is here. There's really not a shortage of marijuana in any urban neighborhood on the East Coast, and we don't grow no marijuana here. You know what I mean? I don't care where you go. Where you said you was in Philly. When was there a drop of weed in Philly?
Never.
No, you can always buy weed. Sometimes the quality might hurt. You have to pick and choose and find that right guy and find that right source. That's when you really get to know a weed man, it comes to your advantage, right? You know that guy always got the good shit, right? But there's always so what they're creating, this whole scheme in New Jersey, is to take all this from the urban neighborhoods, this existing industry that we have. When they start talking numbers and they say that the new cannabis industry is projected to make $13 billion in its first year, or some number like that, right? Who's making that money now? like again, it's the whole Christopher Columbus thing. It's like, but wait a minute, like, what do you mean? When they say there's 800,000 daily smokers in the state of New Jersey, when they start basing their numbers, right? Nobody ever says, wait a minute, who's supplying those 800,000 people now? It's the black market. It's dudes like me. It's dudes like this guy and that guy, and they're all over. They're all weed men everywhere. There's weed women too, by the way. There's a whole lot of weed women out there. I do business with several weed women. There are weed women out there in the black market. When you get to looking at the whole cannabis industry, it's not. There's very few people of color at all, and there's very few women, right? It's rich white guys. And there's a couple prominent women who've recently got into the cannabis industry. But again, this cannabis industry is not. This is rich white guys. And everybody else be damned. And our politicians are writing the laws to take the existing industry that we have, the black market and little guys all over the country, people who smoke weed. And I'm talking about, poor white guys too, or white guys who are into this whole marijuana industry, right? And there's plenty of them too. I deal with them too. Like they're taking it. Did I just lose you? Okay. They're taking it. They're taking it and handing it to rich white guys, and everyone else be damned. And they're calling that legalization. And I find it amazing. Like, what, the black market is just supposed to fold and shut up? Oh, I'm not going to sell marijuana no more because the rich white guys are there doing it legally. No one's going to say that. The existing black market will still be getting in trouble. We'll still be getting arrested. We'll still get in trouble. The guys who have pounds, the guys who distribute marijuana now, not the little guy who has a joint. The guy who's been selling you weed in your neighborhood for the last 20 years, he still would be illegal. This didn't change anything for him. And he's supposed to stop because now we have legalization. Like, right. Who's going to do that? I find it amazing when you hear these politicians talk about that by creating this new cannabis industry, that they're going to eliminate the black market. Like, what a joke. The black market is thriving. If you're in the weed game now, listen, let me tell you something. This is a little advice, right? I hear people talk about buying weed stock and this, that, and the other. Silly rabbit. Buy weed. You know what I mean? But that's the gold right now. Weed. Listen, old ladies is smoking weed. Everybody's smoking weed. It's everywhere. Like people buying it for Christmas gifts. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You know. And I don't know. I find it amazing that people are going to sit back and watch what's happening with this cannabis legalization, the Caucasianization of marijuana, the Columbusization of
Yeah.
this, you know.
Yeah, because that's very interesting that you say that, because when you really think about the overall scope of things, when you talk about cannabis, weed, pot, whatever you want to call it, how they are actually legalizing it. And when you say with that micro license, how they tell you that you have to buy from this corporation, I mean, all the little people is not going to get no money. Nobody else is not going to get no money but you.
Yes. They throw them a little micro license out there just to blow a little smoke up people's butts. That's what it is. Oh, you know, you listen to Governor Murphy when he talks about his social equity programs and stuff. It sounds like giveaways. Look, I'm one of these guys, and I come from a family of hustlers, or should I say business owners or entrepreneurs, or whatever word you want to use, right? I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Just leave me alone and let me make it. Give me a equal playing field. Don't have the power of the government come destroy me every couple of years, and which has happened before. Every time the government's off my back for a little while, I thrive. And right now, the black market in marijuana is thriving, and I'm doing very well. I'm practically a consultant for marijuana now. You know, I can make money just talking to a couple of different people.
Wow. Wow.
You know what I mean? And just put people together and things. I mean, but you know, before you would catch conspiracy laws for that, charges for that.
Yeah.
But now there's not a raging war on potheads right now. There's this gray area that's getting ready to happen. That's what we're in, this gray area right now. If every time someone tells me that how do you get into the marijuana movement? How do you get into the marijuana industry? I tell them, you know what I tell them? Just do it. And you got to do it right now, because right now it's wide. Like in New Jersey, right now it's wide open. We passed the constitutional amendment. It says it's legal for anybody to sell, distribute, grow. And now the government is trying to write laws. They did it backwards. Now the government is trying to write laws and pass laws to regulate how you do that. Well, right now you have a right to do that. As they create these laws are going to be restrictive to little people. They're being written for the big rich white guys. So little people are going to be written out of the laws, right? Black people, brown people, poor people. That's what's happening right now. That's what's slowly happening. But what did happen on January 1st is the constitutional amendment got passed by the citizens. Yes, the whole Mikey thing, right? It passed. So it's the wording, it's legal. Okay, it's legal, right? The state plan was, like I said, you vote for it, let Mikey vote for it, and then we're going to do this, that, and the other. Well, right now they're doing this, that, and the other, and it's turned into a big shit show. But eventually there's going to come a day that there's going to be some laws and some rules and regulations that are in place. And this gray area is going to shrink. Right now, the gray area is so big. Nobody's arresting nobody for selling weed right now. It seems like if you read about somebody getting busted, it seems like an accident. Something extremely that exposed themselves. Me and myself, I'm very open with my whole protest. And, you know, I have to tell you, 3 years ago, I kept thinking they were coming. Every day they were coming, and just kept going and going and going. And now, I don't know. I can't explain it. Somebody told me 5 years ago, I'd just be saying F the government, and I'm selling weed right now across the street from City Hall, state capital of New Jersey. I would have said somebody bumped their head, and whatever you smoking, don't pass it my way.
Right.
But the reality of it is, Donald Trump said he can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. And he without shooting somebody, he proved that he could. Well, I'm on State Street, the state capitol, across the street from City Hall, selling weed. And I feel the same way. You know what I mean? I kind of feel the same way. I can say that. There's plenty of video. But yeah, hey, so I don't know what else to say other than like this. That's just how I kind of feel about it all, man. Legalization is coming, but they're stealing it from us. Some people are standing out and saying something, and it depends. Some people want to listen to every single thing I just said and think a whole total different way, and everything I just said just sounds ridiculous and goofy to them. That's what's going to happen. That does happen, right? Or it's only about him. You know, I'll hear that. Right. But at the same time, the reality of the situation is that's what's happening. Nothing I'm saying is really not truthful. You can't say it's a lie. There will be people disagree, or why is it always got to be about color and race? There are going to be people say all that. But the reality of the situation is, at the end of the day, look at the CEOs of all these corporations and companies and stuff that are getting licensing, that are going to get licensing, or buying property in the state of New Jersey. Just look them up. You can look them all up. You can look up every single CEO and then Google image them. None of them look like me. None of them. All of them are European. So that's just a fact. You know, that's just a fact. So me saying all this is truthful. And
truthful.
You know,
I mean, listen. I always learned this a long time ago. When people start speaking the truth, right, and the truth always comes out, they always deem a person either crazy or the person that just jumped off the side of the building when they start speaking truth. And y'all better start listening, because at the end of the day, nobody don't read. Just like you said, everybody heard legalization of cannabis, and they did not read the undercut of the laws that are being placed in there. Yeah, just like you said, yeah, nobody ain't going to get stopped or locked up for having a little weed here and there. But the people who are actually getting these licenses, you have to buy from big corporations. So all the other small little farmers, you know, because I call them farmers because they are farmers. All the other farmers that are growing the weed or cannabis, whatever you want to call it, pot, they're going to be left out. So it's still going to be people still left out from this right here. And it's a shame that it is happening. And it's a shame that we are not actually reading about this. And I think we need to start reading more about the laws that are being placed a little bit with us. Keep on turning, 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 keep on. There we go, right there, right there, right there, right there. Right there, right. We had that pot right there. You know what I mean?
There we go.
What you cooking in the background? What you cooking in the background?
I can't incriminate myself.
But yo,
you see, it's a big pot.
Oh yeah, you've been fighting this for a long time, and let's talk about your entrepreneurial things that you got going on. Like, you still have a store that sells food.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, 8 ounces and chicken wings, man. That's part of our theme. I should send you the theme song. I got a theme song that says that. 8 ounces and chicken wings. So we have a restaurant, NjWeedman's joint. And in that building, also directly across the street from City Hall, is something called the Stash Spot. The Stash Spot's another little convenience store for potheads just inside of the building, where we sell. Now, how'd that change?
Right.
Yeah, where we sell, you know, pipes and bongs and papers and all that type of little stuff. You know, T-shirts and souvenirs for visiting potheads, because my place has become a destination place too. Okay. People do buy the T-shirts and all that, all the logos and stuff that we have. People buy it. You know, I'm the only place in the state of New Jersey like just openly selling weed across the street from City Hall. And you know, I'm like that guy people follow, you know, in the newspaper and all that. So, like people are supporting. People know that people who read totally know that I started this all as a protest, you know, and it just kept going and going and going. And now I have a thriving business. And will there be a day they come stop me? If they do, and when they do, there also will be a day of a trial, because I'm not taking no plea. I'm going to ask for a speedy trial. I'm going to represent myself, and I'm basically going to put the state on trial for trying to pass these these systemic racist laws. And how, you know what I mean? Like they're really, really making it where regulated cannabis is legal. And the only way you can be regulated is through them, through their system, and through this process that de jure or de facto ends up. These big rich white guys are now the controllers of all marijuana, and it's called cannabis, right? Wow. And that's what they call legalization. Where it's like, wait a minute, hold it, wait a minute. If I wanted beer, you know, I can make my own beer in the house if I really wanted to. If I really wanted to make my own wine, I could make my own wine. If I wanted to go down the street and buy wine from this guy or that guy or whatever company I want to, I could do it. But with this, just saying, nope, we're going to create this new cannabis industry. You know, the Columbus thing there, they're creating it. And you must buy the weed from them to be legal. Everything else is still illegal. Like, no. So I did file a lawsuit too, arguing that in the federal court. And, that hasn't made much press, but you know, I actually think there's going to be a good ruling coming up soon. And either way, whether I lose the ruling or win the ruling, I think it's going to make news. And either way, if I win or the governor wins, because I filed a lawsuit against the governor of New Jersey for this law, that either way, either side will be appealing to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. I'm financially in a situation to do it immediately. You know, all off of weed money too, by the way. You know what I mean? I've secured a nice legal team. I represent myself a lot, but trust me, I have several lawyers who are working with me and have worked with me lately. And, you know, listen, I'm not getting off this can of bus. And I'm not just fighting for me. You know how many people in my situation, we went to prison for weed, for selling weed. This was our business before there was this whole cannabis industry. You know what I mean? Like this, and it's like that in neighborhoods, it's like that in suburbs, all across America. Like I said, I've been all across. I used to be a coast-to-coast truck driver, and I used to buy weed everywhere I went. And I didn't have a problem buying weed. Park my truck, find me a bar. Park my truck, find me Martin Luther King Boulevard, whatever. Depends on where I was, where I looked for. You know, but once I looked for what I looked for, I was always able to find marijuana. So marijuana's always here. So how are they going to just take this industry, this almost like a culture, you know, because also this whole pothead attitude about it, like, so for decades, people had to hide from the government. And people developed like this whole culture. I mean, like sharing and all that comes from the whole war on potheads, right? You know, if there was a little shortage of weed, you shared with your neighbor. Women, you know, all that. And listen, I think I have smoked with some rednecks before, and I smoked with some outrageously down brothers, right? And I'm telling you, weed is the common denominator of a lot of good things. You know what I mean? And it's been like at the people level for all these years. You know, for all the years I knew weed, you can find it. You always felt like, oh man, a white dude smokes weed, he's a cool white guy, whatever. You know what I mean? You bump into an Asian dude that smokes weed. Oh, hey, what's going on, brother? And you smoke weed with him, right? No matter, even through politics, we're still going through this whole Trump thing, right? Where I bitterly argue with Trumpsters online. I resent them. I've had raging arguments with them, but I sell weed. Trumpsters buy weed. So there's a few of the same people I argue with online. They come in and they buy their weed.
That's the common denominator.
Oh man, it's so funny, man. I become friends in person with a couple Trumpsters. Online, we argue. The first couple times, you know, I'm local in Jersey. I talk a lot of shit, you know. I have a little internet presence, so people come at me all the time, you know. And Trumpsters would come at me, and I'd come at them. But at the same time, they'd also go, "Oh, damn, he does sell weed." So I got a nice little steady little stream of Trumpsters who buy weed from me too. Which that demographic it varies, you know. And I just find it amazing. I have a nice Grateful Dead crowd who comes to my place. Because my place offers music too. So for a little while, I had a lot of Grateful Dead bands that were wanting to come there. And you know what? I never realized how many like Grateful Dead bands there are and cover bands. And it's the whole, and listen, dumb white people smoke weed. They're like having reggae bands. We have reggae bands, there's weed smokers there.
Yep.
If you have a Grateful Dead event, there's weed there. A lot of white people, but weed. And you know what? In the last 2 years or so, I've started liking, like, I know some of the songs, you know? Like, before, I might recognize, that's a Grateful Dead song or something. I didn't know the songs. I'm learning the songs because I'm playing the music for my demographics. And my demographic, when it comes to white people, there's a huge percentage that smoke weed. And these are business decisions. These aren't even like racial issues. It's like a business decision. If I want some potheads to come to my place and do some entertainment, buy some chicken wings and smoke some weed, I get me some Grateful Dead bands that come through.
Right. Why not?
The reggae crowd get hipsters, hip hoppers. I've had certain issues with certain crowds, so sometimes I avoid certain crowds regularly all the time. You know, make it an event. It's better to make it an event than to kind of have a situation all the time.
Okay.
But my audience is my. I'm trying to cater to the. Here's sometimes I use that word, cannabis. I try to cater to the cannabis consuming community.
Okay.
You know, so I put on events and things like that, and this is a upcoming thing that should be totally legal too. You should be able to have lounges and places that people come to consume. Also, you know, I don't know what the last final version of, because they haven't written it yet, of the last bill that they were writing in New Jersey. Okay, it was called SB 2703. That was the number. It was State Bill 2703. It was sponsored by Senator Scutari. But anyway, in the bill, the weed lounges, which they called consumption lounges, would only be legal if you had a weed distribution license already, which I said that you had to go through to get one of those.
Wow.
And they were trying to eliminate these little guys that you could just take any place you want. And you could take a barbershop and call it the distribution lounge, a consumption lounge. You come here, you smoke weed, play pool, get your hair cut, play little darts, whatever. Right. And you would have people who flock there, just like you have people who come to bars and drink beer. Right? You could drink beer at home if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Most people do.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest with you. And then there's other people who socialize with alcohol and they socialize in bars. Right? You can do the same thing with weed. You can socialize, you can create environments where people who smoke weed will socialize there. You can put up some big screen TVs and put a Game Boy or something back there in one corner, throw a little darts over there, have good music, and it just be more about weed. And these places can hop up all over. I have one of those too. I have a lounge. People socialize. I don't think there's anything should be illegal about that. Right. And that's what they're going to do. So they're going to have these big, where the Starbucks of marijuana will be able to open up these consumption lounges because they have these other licenses. Where the little guy around the corner, he can't. Like it's not even a plot and a plan, man. It's written. People, you can look and see exactly what they want to do, and I don't know what happened. People just sit back and go like, "What, huh?" Like I don't understand why that wasn't a big fuss.
Yeah.
You know, what are you talking about? Consumption lounges. You can only have consumption lounges if you have a distribution license. And wait a minute, how do you get a distribution license? Oh, you have to have $2 million. You have to have $1 million. You have to have this corporation, that. You have to have all these hurdles. Oh, you mean So you have to be a rich white guy. You know what I mean? Like, again, you won't get those licenses. And like I said, they did throw a bone. They said, hey, we're going to give these micro licenses out. And these micro licenses are going to be affordable. They're going to be like $20,000. And they're going to get 10% of those to the socially disadvantaged, or whatever word they want to use. So they're going to get 10% of the micro licenses to them. So that doesn't mean the whole number. You know, like there's going to be these other micro licenses, but they're going to give like 10% are going to go to minorities. All right, so 10%. And then their definition of minorities has drastically changed. It actually means everybody except white guys.
Wow.
That's really what it does mean, because women, that's half, that's 50%. Women make up more than 50% of the population. So women are considered minorities, though, even though women are the majority.
Yeah.
Whatever. but that's, you know, that's the social where we're at now. So automatically 50% of them are going to be women, okay, or their potential to get it. Same thing with, then they're going to go down the list. There's going to be veterans. There's going to be people who will claim a religious type of argument, discrimination, minority status. There will be, you know, anyway, this definitely, but the guy who went to prison for weed, like me, for instance, right? People just like me, but we're in this business. We can, you know, we sell weed now. We've grown weed. We've transported weed. We know insides and outside of the black market industry that is existing now, right? We can't get into this new field, even if we were trying to. And even these micro licenses, a dude like me would never get a micro license either. Like I said, I'm a felon. I went to prison for selling weed. I didn't go to prison for killing nobody, shooting nobody. I went to prison for weed, right? I won't be one of those 10%ers.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's almost like, it's like, yeah, I can hope for that. Just like I hope for the lottery. I play the lottery once in a while, but
ain't nothing happening.
Like, yeah, nothing happened. Never hit nothing. So the same thing I feel about that. So I have no incentive to follow this new legalization anyway. They ain't legalizing nothing for me.
Right.
You know, legalizing nothing for nobody I know. We ain't getting into this industry, and we are the existing industry now.
Yes.
The 800,000 people who smoke weed in New Jersey right now, because there's no legal way to get weed right now, is through guys like us who sell weed. Sure, there's a couple medical dispensaries around. You have to have a medical card to go there. There's waiting lists to get in there. There's appointment times. The quality is shitty because they're big, rich white guys growing in warehouses. You know what I mean? Like, their weed's not that good. I'd rather get that mountain grown California bud, that valley grown Oregon bud. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather than these big warehouses. But anyway. But right now, everybody gets their weed from guys like us, but that's not who's being made legal.
Yeah.
And we're not being made legal. I think, you know, I see the hashtag out there that I did not create, but I see it. Sometimes I use it. It says support the black market. There's a hashtag that says support the black market. Click on that and read some of the stories and read some of the things and arguments that are being presented under support the black market. You'll see things like this, like I say, support the black market. I think people who've been buying weed from the black market for the last 30 or 40 years, especially middle-aged people, right? They should be opposed to this legalization, because the dudes that they bought weed from, their cousins, their uncles, their brothers, who always been selling weed, you know what I mean? None of us, and many of us court charges, none of us are being made legal. Like, whoa, we went through it to supply marijuana to the people of New Jersey. And now the people of New Jersey vaguely even are recognizing the fact that their weed men for the last 10, 20, 30 years are not being made legal in this. They're being excluded specifically. You know what I mean? Like, we are being excluded in a market that we largely were the ones, the driving force in calling for legalization.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
And now here it is, legalization is coming, and bam, they just flip the switch, and nope, it's all going to the big rich white guys, and they're going to write the bills and write the law and call that legal, and everything else is not.
Wow.
So
Wow.
anyway,
So let's talk about your expansion, because you're actually going to be expanded to Miami. That's what they,
oh yeah,
yeah.
I kind of haven't come out with a big press release and stuff about it, but yes, I've mentioned it. I've showed pictures.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a few. I've been here in Trenton now for 5 years, almost 6 years now.
Okay.
And if you look back, I look back through my life.
Mm-hmm.
Every 5 or 6 years, man, my life drastically changes.
Uh-huh.
I've actually gotten to that point where I was itching. I was at 6 years. I was itching. I was feeling like I just need to do something. I'm tired. I'm bored with this. I'm doing it, but I come to work every day. I didn't work at the post office for like 6 months. I worked there for like 6 months. I'm just like, man, I come here and do the same thing every day. I can't take it. I got to go. Well, over the last 6 years, yes, it was different. It was up and down. It was this, that, and the other. I feel like a whole lot of success. I feel like the last man standing, everything.
Uh-huh.
But I'm getting the itch to do something. And do something new, expand the creativity part of me. So I got invited to come to Miami almost 2 months ago as an investment thing. To be honest with you, I got invited as an investment thing. So I came out, the very first thing I looked at, I liked it, I loved it. I thought I was investing with some guys that were gonna do that. And then I looked at a couple other things. I kept coming back and forth. But this whole marijuana thing is exploding in Miami. So I'm actually being a cannabagger too. I'm coming down there, but I want to catch the entertainment side of it. I want to get into the entertainment. I'm not trying to open a dispensary there. I'm not trying to do other things there, grow, or even be an activist there. This is an entrepreneurship thing. I was just trying to do something.
Okay.
And, as it worked out, the very first place I looked at, the person who in their presentation to me presented themselves as like they had the lease, like this was their building and they were doing this, that, and the other, and were presenting it to me to join in with them. Come to find out, they didn't have the lease, and there was a whole bunch of other legal stuff involved with it. I still like the building.
Okay.
So I approached the landlord. Like, hey, listen, I was invited to take a look at this as an investor, but hey, it looks like this isn't these investors. This thing isn't going to work. But I'm prepared to jump on this. And he's a landlord, man. We're in a pandemic. Things are going on. He was open to giving me a shot, so I ended up with the key and a plan. The key and the plan. I just got to make it work.
Okay.
I think I'll have a plenty of support. I think I'll be able to use my name as NjWeedman's place down in Miami as a selling point. People make it a destination place for people. So build it and they will come. I believe in it. So I'm about ready to build something in Miami. Okay. So love it. So I'll put some more. At some point. I'll be putting out a big press release about it. There will be some investor type conversations. I'm gonna have a grand opening. I pretty much talked to who the DJ is going to be. I talked to who the celebrity is going to be. Okay, but I want to put all that out at one time.
Right.
So I can't name drop right now.
Right.
I want to. Listen, to be honest with you, if I did, there would be some more media generated out of that. But I want to be that big first splash.
Okay.
That's how I do it. I put it out there, and then have me back.
Yeah, best believe it.
You know what? To be honest with you, you should cover the grand opening. You should come to Miami. Let me
open to it. Guess what? See, I will cover the grand opening. Honestly, I will cover the grand opening. If you say, yo, here we go, this is the grand opening, I'll cover the grand opening for you. Sign me up 100%. I'll cover the grand opening.
All right, here we go. Check it out. I just sent you a link. I think that link works to the site.
Okay.
thejointofmiami.com.
Got it. Got it.
I don't know how to pop that up on the screen. That's why I
What
said I
about
don't know this. I know with some sites like this, I could pop this up on a screen and pop on it, and that image would pop up, and you could see the website.
Okay.
I don't know if you can do that. I can do it on the side on one of these other tabs, but you can't see it.
Yeah, hold up. I think I can do that. Give me
Yeah,
1 second. Yeah.
I'm thinking there's a way to do it, but I can't figure it out right now on the fly.
Oh, I can do it. I'm about to do it right now. Let's go ahead. Because you said, all right, so we're going to pop up that image. Let's go ahead and try to get that image popped up for the people out there so they can see it and what it's all about. Hold up. So your boy OT, I'm about to do it right now. That's we speak for our people there. We want to share the screen right here. Yes, share the screen right here. Just we want to share. Yes, we want to share the entire screen. So here we go.
Oh, we had over an hour. We having fun, man. I'm all good. You let me spill.
Yes, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are definitely having fun. Okay, so hold on. I'm about to share the screen. Let me see what I can do here. Share the screen. Okay, so here we go right here. Okay, so you said, oh wow, I didn't share the screen a little bit too much here. Hold on, let's see. Hold on. Now, so trying to
the joint of my
okay, hold on.
Yeah, see, I don't know how to do it. That's why I was saying.
Yeah.
No, in the toolbar, type it in directly. The
okay. Type
it
in directly.
Come up that way. Yeah, type it directly. The jointofmiami.com.
Let's type this straight on there for you. There you go.
Here you go.
There you go. People can see it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It gives multiple pages though. Well, what just happened?
Hold on, let's see.
Anyway, you can share it with your audience later. You put it in the thing. But that site, keep an eye on the site. I'll make major announcements there. That site is gonna be in press releases, things like that, media promos. The image of that site, that building,
yeah. Right. Yeah.
Technical issues on that one right now.
Yeah. We definitely got some technical issues, but I seen it. So, yeah, I am willing to cover it. I'm willing to cover it. I mean, you didn't ask me, so yeah, I don't have a problem doing that. I'll come down to Miami and go ahead and cover it with you. Matter of fact, we could talk about it a little bit more once you get down there, and we can do a whole.
I've been going down there, man. I'm putting it together.
Okay.
I've been going every week. I've been jumping on a plane at 8 in the morning. I'm on the ground in Miami by 10:30. By 12 o'clock, I'm at the building.
Oh man!
I repainted it. We bought furniture. We did a whole lot. It's going to be a club. It's going to look like a nice 420 friendly lounge club. A little upscale place in an upscale neighborhood. That's in Wynwood.
Oh, okay.
About Miami, they know that the art district is Wynwood. The Wynwood section of Miami is the art district. So this was a huge leap for me.
Okay.
To go from Trenton, New Jersey, to the art district in Miami.
Yeah.
So, but it's the whole challenge of it, of trying to make it work and make it successful. I mean, I felt like I remember coming from New Jersey once before, and I went to Los Angeles on Hollywood Boulevard. I ended up within a few months. I had a place on Hollywood Boulevard, and to me, I had a Hollywood story. I did right. I did well. I ended up in a couple movies. Met a whole bunch of celebrities. I was on TMZ myself 3 times.
Wow.
So, but you know what? I look at this move to Miami. This is even bigger than that. And my LA thing, it lasted for 4 years, and I feel good about it. When I look back at my LA years, I feel good about it. I was having mansion parties. I had a place on Hollywood Boulevard. I was promoting things. I was making good money. I met a lot of people. And then one day the DEA came and just destroyed me.
Wow.
Ended up back in Jersey, and here in Jersey, okay, I've gotten some success again. And I got the itch to do something else, and bam, on to Miami. And I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do good. You know, build it and they will come. I'm building it now. Yep.
All right. Well, listen, sign me up. I'm there. You best believe it. I'm there. So if you want me to cover the grand opening, your boy OT will cover the grand opening.
Cover the grand opening. Right now, it's penciled in.
Yep.
As July 2nd, which is a Friday.
July 2nd.
There's a hip hop artist and a reggae artist. I'm gonna give you a hint.
Okay.
Probably gonna have to flip the coin as to which celebrity goes first or who's the headliner. I don't know. but I got some good names to this grand opening with.
Okay.
So it should. But I just want to seal it all at the same time. Make sure it's all gonna work out exactly how I'm planning.
Yep. So July 2nd.
July 2nd is pretty much the date. I can pretty much say July 2nd. You know, the whole weekend is going to be that weekend. July 4th is on a Monday, so I have that whole weekend is on a 4-day weekend. So you know people are going to be going out and about, especially the night of that weekend. So I think that's a good night. And my grand opening isn't just going to be one day. I think we're going to do a 2-dayer.
Okay. So
I think we're doing Friday and Saturday, just all day, just boom, boom, boom. Maybe make that first one I don't want to say a 24-hour.
Right.
But do you think we're going to close at 2:00 in the morning? No.
No.
Do you think the party ain't going to start at least at 9:00 in the morning again? Like it's going to be like, yeah, we're open. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, I really do think we're going to do that, and just be because that's the area that could happen too.
Okay.
You know, I used to go to this series of events in Los Angeles. It was a great series. It was called the Do-Over, right? And the theme of it was you went out all night, Friday night, all night, Sunday. You wake up on Sunday and you do it over. And they would have a party that started at like 8:00 in the morning somewhere in LA, and they would party until like 4 p.m. and then it would be over. It was on Sundays, maybe 2:00. It was on Sundays, and there was a couple celebrity DJs who would come in and do it. I remember I seen Queen Latifah. The only time I ever seen Queen Latifah face to face was at a do-over event where she was the DJ. She came on a Sunday morning and she DJ'd. It was right in Hollywood too. One Sunday morning, nobody even knew she was going to do it. She just showed up one day and just did DJ. And I think what is her name? I'm having a brain cramp. Oh man. But she's a super celebrity from the early 90s. MC Light. MC Light hosted one too on a Sunday morning. So this is like people who are hanging out all night on a Saturday night. They leave the club and you go to breakfast somewhere. You know how morning breakfast is after the club right? And then you would go and do it all over again. Go to this other club and start at 8:00 in the morning. And celebrity DJs and stuff that would come in and be the DJ. And like I said, I went to it a few times. Those are two names I remember that hosted it. And it was a good series too. It was in Hollywood. I'm sure that club made a lot. Whoever ran that, because they moved from place to place too. In that series, all the bar owners all made good on that. And that's a good promo. I would have that type of thing should be moved to different cities, and people should have that in different cities. And just have this Sunday morning party.
I agree with you on that one. Anyway, I definitely agree with you on that one. Well, yo, man, because you know, me and you've been chopping it up for about an hour, and I know you got something else to do around 8:30. That's what she was telling me. And you got something to do around 8:30. So look, we got to keep in touch. So we ain't going. I want to send you a private message real fast. Hit me up real fast. I sent it to you. You got it?
Yep, I got it.
Okay, all right. Hit me up so we can so we can dialogue a little bit more off a stage.
All right.
off of the radio. All
That,
right.
that'll
Yo.
work. Like I said, if nothing else, I'll see you in July.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can pencil me in. I will be there. I will host it for you, the grand opening and everything else, man. I definitely appreciate you for coming on.
Live stream it back to your people.
Yes, sir. And I'll do that too. No problem. You know what I mean? We'll bring the whole team down and we're live streaming right there and there. But everybody come like, oh man, look at this. So yeah, we there July 2nd. You ain't gotta worry about it. We would definitely be there. I'll bring the whole team with me and everything else. Hey, I definitely appreciate you. And you know what? I might end up stopping by the store next week.
All
So
right. Come on through.
you know what I mean?
8 ounces and chicken wings.
Yup, definitely. I gotta get the chicken wings though. I gotta get the chicken wings because everybody says it's actually good, to be honest with you. So I'll be down there. I'll come check you out. I'll hit you up first and let you know that I'm sliding through a little bit. If you in town. All right. Yo, I appreciate you, man. Peace out. Much love, man. And I'll be seeing you and talking to you soon.
Yeah, peace.
Peace. Oh man, you know what? I appreciate it. Hey, y'all. Just like he was stating, y'all got to start reading these laws. Y'all got to start reading these laws of what's going on because these laws is actually showing y'all different things when we talk about the laws here and how they are trying to manipulate who gets what. Listen to it. Read. Read. You know, they always say reading is fundamental. Read. Because a lot of people, we just clicked on it and we just was like, okay, cool. And that was it for us. Make sure y'all read. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you don't read, you don't know what you signed up for. And it's out there. Big corporations are going to be getting it, legalizing people, small increments. The other people ain't going to be making no money. The other farmers ain't going to be seeing it. So, yo, oh, man, appreciate it. I appreciate him. Most definitely. We're going to be talking later. Hey, July 2nd, 2021, I'll be in Miami. You best believe it with the team. So we definitely going to be down there. Yo, but I got to tell you this, right? I got something going on. It is, hold up, everybody, and I'm going to tell you. And if you don't tune in on that day, on April the 15th, at noon. If you don't tune in, you're going to miss something special. Now, I'm be promoting it all this week starting on Monday. Y'all going to see stuff popping up here and there. All online with your boy OT. And boom, the show is going to be on that April 15th. And I think that's a Thursday on noon. So get ready because this is going to be a good show because we're going to talk about finance. We're going to talk about finance, y'all. And how we need to, do our finances a little bit. So, like I told you, your boy OT, we're going to start hitting stuff on the head about the community and what's going on, laws being stated. So this is another thing that I'm bringing to your, you heard what I say, to your, it's another thing that I'm bringing to you where you can actually listen to. But yo, I appreciate y'all for joining me here on the show. I appreciate the love. Yo, let me tell you something. I might have another At the Dark relationship talk because it went so good yesterday that I might just do it every day, every time. So you never know when a relationship is going to be popped up. It might pop up on Saturdays, might pop up on Friday nights. You know what I mean? Might end up jumping on the show and doing another one. But it might pop up Sunday mornings. Who knows? We never know. But relationship talk, we're going to start having that. That's going to be an annual thing. So we can start talking about things and start bringing things to light. But y'all, I appreciate everybody for joining your boy OT on the show. Make sure y'all check us out April 15th, 2021 on noon because we're going to bring something hot for y'all. Oh, yeah, we're going to be talking about finance. I'm going to have the special guest. When you see the special guest, 2 of them, when you see them, then you already know. That's all I'm going to say to y'all. You already know. But make sure you check us out on Facebook.com/OT Show. Make sure you subscribe to my channel on YouTube. OT Radio Show 1. I'm right there. So make sure you subscribe to me, because pretty soon, once we get to a certain amount of subscribers, we're going to be shooting everything to YouTube. So I need y'all all to subscribe, get the notifications when we're going to be popping up, listen to a lot of things that's going to be coming. You know, we're going to be doing a couple other shows with people. So that stuff is going to be coming soon. Make sure you check out my man RW tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Make sure you check him out, 10 o'clock, because he's going to be on at 10 o'clock a.m. in the morning time. We'll speak on it. Make sure you check out my man NjWeedman on Sunday with the mix, Christian hip hop. So you make sure y'all check us out. We got a lineup. Today was your boy OT. Tomorrow is your man RW. Want to speak on it. And Sunday is my man NjWeedman, Christian hip hop at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you make sure y'all check us out, because we blowing it up. We taking over the airways, baby. This is what we do. Hey, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And we out of here. Peace.